Hey, how you doing, Summoners? This is your Mobalytics jungle expert, Ryan Flares Doyle, breaking down the 7 best team compositions to run for Clash. Valentine's Day is finally over, which means you should have zero money left in your bank account thanks to your significant other. So what better way to stay indoors and pretend to be allergic to sunlight while you assemble your God Squad and apply your SPF 4000 sunscreen? And if your significant other gets mad, just ignore them, as you can just blame them on not being able to pay the phone bill this month. Jokes aside, Crash is finally evolving into Clash in Season 10, and if you're like me, you're probably excited to grab your buds and go stomp out other teams in your bracket for the Clash Cup trophy. And leading off for our first team composition, and my personal favorite, we have a well-rounded pick and teamfight comp that is consistently strong in the early, mid, and late game. For top lane, you're going to want to choose Ornn with jungle Rek'Sai, middle Cassiopeia, Caitlyn AD carry, and support Leona. If any of these picks for whatever reason got picked or banned away from you, consider picking up our recommended alternative picks that should round out the comp similarly to what was taken away. When playing this comp, just be careful of these counters. Yasuo, who can win while an essential Ornn engage, Elise, who is a natural hard counter to Rek'Sai thanks to her repel, Orianna, who keeps Cassiopeia at bay and doesn't allow her to walk up to use her Twin Fangs, Tristana, who can use rocket jump resets and her early snowball potential to throw Renshin bot lane scaling, and lastly, Morgana, who is the bane of every engaged player's existence. Her Black Shield will stuff any playmaking potential as well as snaring you until your hair turns gray or you're just done pulling all of it out. Going into draft, be sure to get your hands on Ornn immediately if left open, then follow that up with Cassiopeia. Ornn provides massive stats thanks to his upgradable items, and Cassio will help secure and lock down kills thanks to the many synergies the team provides, such as Rek'Sai Unburrow or Leona crowd control. Rek'Sai will allow the team to get rolling early thanks to her favorable early game in the current meta. Caitlyn and Leona will have even more lockdown synergy thanks to Leona's crowd control and Caitlyn's traps. Also, due to the nature of the bot lane, Caitlyn will be able to maintain lane dominance and help provide priority for the Dragon Soul win con. To reach your win condition, it's very simple. Let your jungler set up plays and accumulate a small lead and make it unscathed until 10 minutes. After that, group up and fight over neutral objectives until you blast their nexus into oblivion. I suggest playing this comp if winning is your main focus instead of having fun, as you'll likely be called sweaty nerds constantly by a team likely to disband immediately thanks to your draft making them Omega Int pre 10 minutes. Rolling into team comp number 2, we have a hard engage style team that excels when grouped and feels oh so good when you wombo combo and sync. Duly named the Wombo. To truly achieve the Womboest Wombo, you're going to want to pick Kennen top, Jarvan jungle, Orianna middle, AD carry Misfortune, and support Nautilus. Beware of picks like Cho'Gath, who will silence you and one-shot you with R as you blink in the late game. Kindred, who can single-handedly save a teamfight and kite thanks to her Lamb's Respite. Veigar, who seems like it would be easily abused, would actually confine you and dismantle your whole dive engage comp thanks to his cage, as well as Senna and Morgana, who will scale well and stuff ganks to the Black Shield and the sustain from Senna Q. Be sure to utilize your team strength of forcing engages and layering ultimates. The best part about this comp is that you have multiple engage tools from Kennen, Nautilus, Jarvan, and the deadly follow-up from Orianna and Misfortune. Try to focus more on Rift Herald over Dragons early, as you want to transition Shelly for tower platings to reach your item spikes quicker. With this team, as long as you don't run it down pre 10 minutes, you will shine in the mid to late game portion of the match. Pick this comp if you're a team who prides themselves on their synergy and chain ultimates so well the enemy team has no other choice but to give you props. Moving forward to comp number 3, we have an aggressive early to mid game team that you will absolutely love to use against teams you're certain you'll have them FFing in 15 minutes. Your win condition is to be better than your opponents early and to close out the game pre 30 minutes, otherwise it's best to blame the game on lag, the dog barking in the background, or Lady Luck, as it was surely not your team's fault if you couldn't pull this one off. We'll call this one the we're better than you comp. With top Kled, jungle Elise, middle Kiana, AD carry Draven, and support Alistar. Despite the nerfs on Singed, Singe's sticky glue patch inhibits Kled, Elise, Kiana, and Alistar from playmaking thanks to the grounding effect. Olaf would also ignore everybody and go 10-0 before your team can even say 200 years experience. Lissandra stalls and locks down your comp fairly easily, while Ashe and Morgana slow, snare, stun your champions as well as your minerals as they deny your strong, aggressive early game. For this one, use the aggressive nature of the comp to snowball and dive with Elise, since she has synergies to gank and dive in every lane. You will need to prioritize Rift Heralds for income and to bait teams to defend their structures before you all-in them under the tower. This is a high-risk, high-reward playstyle that requires a good amount of synergy between teammates, so be sure to practice this one a couple times in your scrims before game day. Continuing forward with comp number 4, I wanted to throw in a slick lockdown scaling teamfight composition that'll reward those of you who like to play reserved and calculated to slowly choke out your opponents. For top lane, you're going to want to pick Set with jungle Sejuani, middle Sylas, AD carry Jinx, and support Braum. Set may seem like he may counter Maokai, but Maokai can really disrupt and avoid a lot of Set's damage thanks to his Q and W. Trundle will absolutely tear Sejuani to shreds thanks to his stat stealing abilities thanks to his Q and R. Mordekaiser will be able to death realm anybody on your team and stand on you with Conquer and his passive as he emotes over your grave. Misfortune and Taric would be able to sustain and poke in the lane as well as peel and have amazing stalling potential in the later stages of the game thanks to Misfortune R and Taric's invulnerability. What allows for this comp to synergize so well is the insane crowd control you get from just Sejuani and Braum, which is supplemented by the Set and Sylas picks to help proc the on-hit effects. This comp strives to get to the mid to late game, so try to play safe early and wait for your team's item spikes. And if all else fails, you have Jinx as a hyper carry to rely on in the late game with plenty of peel to boot. With comp number 5, we will take skill expression to a whole new level and help make your hook champions' lives easier in the form of Trundle Pillar, since it will slow and make hooks easier to land. Be prepared to laugh uncontrollably as Pyke will single-handedly purchase your team's Rolexes and Louis Vuittons thanks to his insane gold share from your cut on his ultimate. For top laner, go ahead and pick Mordekaiser with Trundle Jungle, mid Pyke, AD carry Vayne, and support Thresh. Be wary as Tryndamere can steal the game from under your noses as he can cancel Pyke R as well as be a consistent threat in the later parts of the game to his strong split pushing potential. Trynd will force 2 or more melee players to deal with him, and if he pulls Mordekaiser away from teamfights, then he already has done his job. Nunu and Willump will be able to secure neutrals far better than Trundle can, so be careful for that. While Diana will be able to keep Pyke honest in lane phase with decent kill pressure. Kog'Maw and Morgana will be able to scale exceptionally due to the fact that Vayne is looking for a passive lane anyways to farm well. And in my opinion, it'd be more worried about a Kog'Maw free hitting with Black Shield than a Vayne who will likely be spotted and executed on sight. This comp may seem a little wonky at first glance, but believe me, people have forgotten the sheer power and gold Pyke middle provides. Pyke synergizes really well with Halo Blades, which conveniently got buffed this patch. The Pyke pick will roam and help kickstart the Vayne train to snowball for late game. Picks are essential to this comp, so be sure to use Trundle Pillar to narrow their chances of dodging skill shots, and if all else fails, your team is equipped with above average peeling tools for your Vayne to get you across the finish line. Alrighty y'all, are you still with me? With comp number 6, we will shift from the primarily teamfight comps that we have covered so far to a more poke-based composition, that at the end of the day will still accomplish what a purebred teamfight comp could achieve, if not better. If you're looking to annoy and watch as your enemy's mentals deteriorates the more you land skill shots, this composition is right up your alley. For top lane, we have Rumble, Jarvan Jungle, middle Zoe, AD carry Ezreal, and support Thresh. Be on the lookout for Set as he can chase down your Rumble thanks to his Q, which negates Rumble's move speed on his W. Amumu would be able to strip magic resist off your team as well as provide a decent AoE lockdown ultimate if he managed to land a bandage toss. Heimerdinger would prove challenging thanks to his turrets being able to block Zoe and Ezreal poke as well. And finally, Twitch and Taric would be able to stealth stun you in lane phase as well as scale harder in the mid game. For our last and final comp, we have a comp that'll have your enemies barking in all chat for how much you are willing to commit to picking off a player. To me, this is the true one and only submarine comp. I suggest playing this comp if you are confident in your split pushing and 1-3-1 abilities as a team. Not only that, but you would also have some very decent team fighting as well. Lazily nicknamed the Submarine, we're going to go ahead and choose Shin top, Nocturne jungle, Twisted Fate middle, AD carry Jhin, and support Leona. Dr. Mundo will truly go where he pleases all over your team as your team lacks steady damage. His tenacity and healing regeneration will surely prove a problem if he is left open versus this team. Trundle counters Nocturne by pillaring Noct away and separating him from his fear target, while Ziggs will never allow TF to roam thanks to the amazing wave clear Ziggs provides. Xayah and Taric will prove difficult in lane thanks to the kiting, sustain, disengage, and invulnerability, and deny any chance of your team to burst or lock down any of their fellow teammates. Look for opportunities to dive with Nocturne plus Shinar, as your Twisted Fate would be able to ultimate and teleport without being noticed to follow up. You'll have another great initiation tool from the Jhin Leona combo to make picks all the more easier for your Nocturne and Twisted Fate. Be sure to play safe and farm until level 6, and make plays around your TF or Nocturne and prioritize Rift Heralds early so that you can get to your item spikes much quicker. That's all from me folks, and thank you all for watching, as that is it for this Mobalytics Clash Comps video. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you've enjoyed this video or want to see even more content like this in the future. I wish y'all good luck with your Clash brackets, and be sure to like and subscribe to the Mobalytics YouTube channel for even more League of Legends content to enjoy in the future.